Are you looking for the best heat press machine for beginners and your budget? Well, in today's video we break down the top 5 best heat press machine for beginners that are available on the market. I made this list based on their price, quality, durability, and more. To find out more information about this product, you can check out the description below. And also make sure you subscribe for more reviews. Okay, so let's get started with the video. The 5th product on our list is the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press. If you just go ahead and look up heat press machines, there's a very high chance you'll stumble upon the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press, given as it's regarded by numerous users as being simply the best one out there. Now, that's not to say that this machine is absolutely flawless, because it does have a few drawbacks, much like every other machine you could find on the market, whether it's a heat press, cutter, plotter, or lettering machine. However, the general consensus is that the pros heavily outweigh the cons, so that you won't feel like you're compromising on vital features, which is very important when you're about to invest in any piece of equipment for your crafting business. We don't want to start on a bad note, so we'll focus on the positive aspects of owning the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press. First of all, it's a sturdy piece of equipment, so you won't have to worry about it breaking or putting too much pressure on it and ruin the design or the surface you want to transfer it on. Moving on to a bit more technical side, the machine is equipped with a 15x15 inches heating plate, which is plenty enough if you just want to start a t-shirt design business and need a trustworthy heat transfer machine that's up for the job. What's more, you can also use it for tote bags if you feel like it. However, that's not the only parameter you should be judging by if you're looking for a solid heat press machine. The heating up time is also an important perk that you'll want to look after, as it makes sense that a machine that heats up faster is more valuable than one that takes a lot to become operational. Fancierstudio Power Heat Press can and does heat up its plate very quickly, so you'll be imprinting your favorite designs on t-shirts and bags in no time. Furthermore, it's also worth mentioning that unboxing and getting the machine operational can be tackled in less than 10 minutes, which is nothing short of impressive. The Fancierstudio Power Heat Press is highly intuitive, so as long as you remember that it's not a toy and that it is, in fact, a machine that resembles a more specific clothing iron that gets extremely hot, you should be able to operate it without significant effort, even if you're a complete novice. Although we didn't have the time to stress test the machine, the general consensus is that the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press can be easily placed in the heavy-duty category of heat press machine, with some users reporting to have been using it for more than a couple thousand t-shirts and bags, and still being able to use it without a hiccup. Additionally, the temperature on the heating surface is even, so you won't have to worry about burning holes through your designs or ruining the t-shirts or bags you're about to personalize with your designs. It's worth mentioning that, unlike some other heat presses we've included in our ranking, the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press has a clamshell design, which means that it has 2 components and you must put the fabric you want to imprint your design on between them. While this eliminates the need for a steady, flat surface in order to transfer your designs flawlessly, it also means that once the imprinting is ready, you'll have to exercise a bit of strength to lift the surface up after everything is done. Needless to say, since the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press has a component that can quickly heat up to a few hundred degrees, you should expect it to generate quite a little heat in the space that you're working in. You can easily overcome this minor inconvenience by placing the machine in a well-ventilated area. Furthermore, you may notice that it gives a specific scent when you're operating it for the first few times. However, this smell goes away if you just keep using the machine. Either that or you get really used to it, but we're inclined to go with the former. One other thing that some users complain about is that the machine is quite heavy. While not a problem on its own, if you try to move it around, you could end up scratching the surface on which the machine resides. So we suggest you use some surface protections or refrain from moving Fancierstudio Power Heat Press around too much. Although the machine is quite intuitive to use, you may have to turn to the instructions manual every now and then, and some users complain about never receiving the manual. While this sounds like quite an inconvenience, you can find a lot of online resources on how to operate Fancierstudio Power Heat Press flawlessly. The bottom line is that there are a few good reasons why the Fancierstudio Power Heat Press took first place in our list, and those are its intuitiveness, reliability, sturdiness, and overall effectiveness. Not to mention that it's very affordable considering that heat press machines are generally expensive. Up next in the 4th place is the PowerPress Industrial Quality Digital Sublimation Heat Press Machine. If you're set in your ways and you think that vinyl is the absolute best when it comes to cutting and imprinting designs on your surfaces, then you might want to get more specific with your heat press machine as well. Namely, you might want a machine that works best with vinyl as opposed to going for one that's more versatile and can handle more materials. That being said, if you're looking for the absolute best heat press machine for vinyl, then PowerPress Industrial Heat Press is definitely what you need for your business. One thing that's immediately worth mentioning is that PowerPress has impressive customer support, with many user reviews mentioning how they were able to fix a wide variety of issues through tech support without delay, and some of them even on holidays. If you're running a business and t-shirt designing is more than just a hobby that you dedicate a few hours during the weekend, then you'll want to take the customer support factor into consideration, since there's a chance that you may be hitting a brick wall every now and then. This doesn't mean at all that the machine is not trustworthy in any way. It's just that every piece of technology that's on the market can malfunction at a certain point, and you'll definitely want to be prepared if that ever happens while you're using the PowerPress Industrial Heat Press. This heat press is very intuitive, meaning that you'll be able to unpack it and start using it right away without spending a lot of time trying to understand what it does or how to operate its levers and buttons. Much like the #1 contender on our list, the PowerPress Industrial Heat Press also comes with a clamshell design, so that there's no need to press your fabric against a different surface to ensure that your prints won't be crooked. You just put the fabric in the machine, close it, and wait for the recommended amount of time for the design to be imprinted on the surface that you chose. The bad news is that clamshell heat press machines are generally more difficult to open once the transfer is done, so you might need to give it a hefty pull to open it. The speed of the heat press is great, seeing as it only needs 5 to 7 minutes to reach the optimal temperature before you can put your material into it. Note that you'll have to wait for the machine to preheat before putting your t-shirt or bag into it. The fact that it heats up so fast is also a strong indicator of the fact that the PowerPress Industrial Heat Press doesn't lose too much energy to heat the room. Furthermore, it has a press surface of 15 x 15 inches, giving you plenty of elbow room to work not only on t-shirts, but also other types of fabric, such as tote bags, tablecloths, pillowcases, mousepads, and other similar products. Finally, this heat press is built with top-grade materials, which means that it will last you a long time, so that you won't have to worry about preserving it in a pristine condition by sparing it from being used so often. It's durable, and that's something you can almost feel when you unbox it. Now for the not-so-great news. As with some other heat press machines, you may feel an unpleasant scent the first few times when you're operating the PowerPress Industrial Heat Press. On the bright side, the smell will go away if you keep using the press, so that's not exactly a huge problem. Furthermore, you may notice that there are some differences in temperature between regions on the heated press surface. Although these shifts in temperature are nothing to be worried about, they could potentially affect your design transfers if you're not careful enough. Last but not least, as we've already mentioned, the PowerPress Industrial Heat Press has a clamshell design, which means that you'll have to use some muscle to lift the press after the design transfer is done. The bottom line is that if you're in need of a machine that can perform heat transfers excellently with vinyl, you should definitely go with PowerPress Industrial Heat Press. It has great customer support, comes with a generous 15 x 15 inches heated press surface, and heats up very fast. The third product on our list is the Cricut EasyPress 2 Heat Press Machine. If you're a crafting aficionado, then you must have heard about Cricut and know at least a few of the products they're showcasing, right? If you have no idea what we're talking about, then scratch that and let us start from the top. Cricut is a titan of the crafting industry, seeing as they have a broad variety of products that can satisfy most, if not all, of your crafting needs. They're most popular for their cutting machines that are simply intuitive, versatile, and powerful, whatever your project is, so you might not have been aware that they also make heat press machines. Well, they do, and their heat press machines such as the Cricut EasyPress 2 are easily some of the best ones we've encountered. Furthermore, they won't have you break the bank either, which is precisely why they're not only in our top 10, but they also received the best budget heat press title. It goes without saying that if you have a Cricut cutting machine such as the Maker 3 or the Explorer Air 2, pairing it up with a Cricut heat press such as the Cricut EasyPress 2 is one of the best things you could do, since they work amazingly well together. The Cricut EasyPress 2 comes in 3 different sizes: a small one that has a 6 x 7 inches heating surface, a medium 9 x 9 inches one, and a large one that lets you work on a 10 x 12 inches surface. Although the small and medium ones are great and fun to work with, if you're serious about your design business, we recommend you to go with the largest one. You'll be able to work on so much more surfaces than if you were to stick with the small or medium versions. And you'll also reduce the time you spend transferring designs. So it's really a no-brainer. What's great about the Cricut EasyPress 2 is that it's simply the fastest heat press on the market, and it's truly impressive watching the medium one heating up in less than 1 minute. The largest version of Cricut EasyPress 2 takes a little less than 3 minutes to get going, but nevertheless, it's still really impressive. Furthermore, all machines regardless of size have a digital display that will let you know once the heat press has reached its optimal temperature, so that you won't have to set timers or perform mental countdowns. The overall experience is fast and streamlined, if anything. Now we know that we've been singing its praises, but it's an amazing machine. However, it does have a bunch of shortcomings, at least if you compare it to other similar products on the market. For once, it's a small heat press, even if you decide to bite the bullet and go with the largest one in the series. 10x 12 inches is simply not enough for some users, so if you need a machine that can handle larger work surfaces, maybe the Cricut EasyPress 2 is not for you. Technically, you could use it for larger designs as well, but you'd have to be extremely accurate and use it multiple times for the same design. Not to mention the fact that doing so is really time-consuming and doesn't go well with bulk orders. Furthermore, Cricut has to pick up their game as far as documentation goes, since most users seem to prefer watching instructional YouTube videos on operating the machine rather than rely on the lackluster instruction manuals. Last, but not least, the Cricut EasyPress 2 doesn't have a clamshell design. In order to operate the machine, you have to press it over the surface you want to imprint, sort of like you were using an iron or a giant stamp that gets hot. Although this is great for some users who are seeking intuitiveness more than everything, it also means that you won't be able to imprint your designs on surfaces that aren't perfectly flat. The bottom line is that if you're a fan of Cricut and already own a cutting machine from this manufacturer, the Cricut EasyPress 2 would make an excellent asset for your t-shirt design business. It may be a bit small, but it definitely makes it up to you with its intuitiveness, lightweight frame, and incredible speed. Second on our list is the Vevor Heat Press 15 by 15 inch 8-in-1 heat press machine. Although most of you automatically think of t-shirts when it comes to heat press machines, in reality, these machines can be used on several other types of fabric-based surfaces, such as caps, gloves, mousepads, tablecloths, pillowcases, and so on and so forth and what have you. However, if you're serious about finding the perfect heat press for your t-shirt business, then you should look no further. The Vevor heat press is exactly what you'll need. Of course, nobody's stopping you from using it on other types of fabric, but for what it's worth, it works flawlessly on t-shirts. Much like the first two heat press machines on our list, the Vevor heat press has a 15x 15 inches heated surface, which gives you plenty of room to work on imprinting your designs on various pieces of fabric. What makes Vevor heat press truly shine and separate itself from the crowd is its swing-away design. The clamshell design works great most of the time, regardless of where you decide to imprint your designs, but they also have a huge drawback: uneven pressing. If the imprint is not evenly pressed on the surface you're working on, you could easily picture how your design could be compromised. Well, with swing-away heat press machines such as Vevor heat press, uneven pressing is a thing of the past. One of the greatest things about the Vevor heat press is that it comes with excellent customer support, which we already established is an awesome bonus to having a sturdy machine, considering that you won't need to worry anymore about any potential snag you may hit during your projects. Another key feature of the Vevor heat press is that you can assemble it very fast, regardless of your previous experience with similar machines or tech savviness. As opposed to some other heat press machines on our list, the Vevor heat press comes with a broad variety of accessories, which could help you work on various types of surfaces other than t-shirts. For instance, you can use Vevor heat press and its accessories to customize plates, hats, and even mugs if you feel like it. The fact that the accessories are incredibly intuitive and easy to use is also definitely a plus in our books. On the downside, due to its swing-away design, you'll need a whole lot more space to unfold and operate the machine than with some other products on our list. The best way to tackle this is to have a dedicated space for your heat press. So if you feel that you can't accommodate this, you may be better off with using a different product, one that's smaller and has a design that is less pretentious. Another drawback of the Vevor heat press is that it takes quite some time to get ready to imprint, and it's probably due to its size, too. Therefore, you may want to find something else to do in the meantime while the Vevor heat press gets ready to be used by reaching its optimal temperature. The bottom line is that Vevor heat press works great on t-shirts, but you could use it just as well on a plethora of other surfaces, including mugs, plates, and hats, thanks to all the accessories that it comes with. Its swing-away design makes it perfect for t-shirts, but it also requires a lot more space to operate, compared to other products on our list that have a clamshell design. Finally, the top product on our list is the F2C Pro Heat Press machine. Granted, not everyone has a knack for crafting stuff, especially when this type of activity involves operating a hot plate that can reach a few hundred degrees before you can finish reading up on that instructions manual. That's precisely why not every piece of equipment on the market is designed to be used by professionals. However, most of the time beginner-friendly machines have a fatal flaw: they're not exactly powerful, which takes out all the convenience of buying the product in the first place. Well, we have some news for you. F2C Pro Heat Press machine is a heat press that's been conveniently designed to be used by beginners without significant effort. But the thing about this press is that it can also be used by professionals, since it features just about everything you could need from such a contraption. Let us be more specific. The F2C Pro Heat Press machine may be a beginner-friendly heat press, but by no means is it limited in any way as far as print quality is concerned. The user-friendliness of this machine is also greatly boosted by the fact that this heat press is partially assembled in the box. Therefore, if you're not exactly tech-savvy, you don't need to worry too much about spending a lot of time matching schematics to the product in front of you so that you won't mess up the assembly and render the machine useless. In fact, that's one of the things that make it so accessible for beginners. It's easy to assemble. Moments after unboxing, you can get to work thanks to the simplicity of the assembly process, which is kept to a minimum. The surface of the F2C Pro Heat Press machine is smaller than that of some of the other machines on our list, seeing as it only measures 12 x 15 inches. On the bright side, the fact that the heated surface is a tad smaller than the competition's doesn't mean that the machine can't do a great job. The surface of this press heats evenly so that you won't have to worry about parts of your design not sticking, while others getting burned in the process. Furthermore, the customer support you get with your purchase of the F2C Pro Heat Press machine is simply one of the best ones you could find. Regardless of what your problem is, the customer support agents will try to make sure that you'll get it sorted out. We've stumbled upon this issue a bunch of times with some other machines, but the first few times you're going to use the F2C Pro Heat Press machine, you may notice an unpleasant smell coming during the actual heat transfer process. However, you shouldn't worry too much about it, seeing as it will go away if you keep using the machine. Furthermore, the smell won't transfer to the materials you're imprinting your designs on, so it's really more of a temporary setback if any. Just make sure that the space you're in is properly ventilated and you probably won't even notice the odor too much. Additionally, some users suggest that there may be some missing parts to the instructions manual, such as the entire manual. Jokes aside, reportedly the instructions manual is either missing entirely from the bundle or is not very helpful, so you may be better off watching YouTube videos. However, this seems to be a common issue with these machines, so you may as well soldier through the fact that the documentation is lackluster. After all, we can all say that YouTube is often more helpful than any poorly worded help manual most of the time. The bottom line is that if you're looking for a heat press machine that won't burn a hole in your wallet and can be operated with ease even if you're a complete novice, we wholeheartedly recommend that you go with the F2C Pro Heat Press machine. It's almost assembled out of the box, has a smooth learning curve, provides you with an accurate, even imprinting process, has a 12 x 15 inches heated surface, and comes with amazing customer support. On the downside, it may smell the few times you use it and the documentation is lackluster. However, these two issues are somewhat frequent, so they shouldn't be a deal breaker, especially if you love everything else about the F2C Pro Heat Press machine. Thanks for watching, and that's all for now. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till next time.